Hey, welcome back to another Fear the Wave collective video. I'm joined, as always, by Isaac Popper, and we have a very special guest today, Tulane football head coach Jon Sumrall. Thank you so much for joining us. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing great. I appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah, it's great. It's great having you on. We're really excited to get to talk to you today. First and foremost, congratulations on being ranked for the first time in your career as a head coach. I was curious, is that something that you guys pay attention to during the season at all? Of course, going 1-0 is all that you can control in a given week, but with the expanded playoffs, this kind of recognition has become particularly relevant. So what's y'all's process in terms of processing that information?
Yeah, I think it's hard to ignore. People are gonna bring it up to you. I addressed it head on with our team. I say, look, we slid into the top 25. We hadn't actually jumped into it. We just kind of backdoored our way in right now, being 25th in the AP. And I reminded them that that could be rat poison. That can distract you from really what's at hand. Where you're ranked in November the 11th, 12th, 13th doesn't matter. It doesn't really have any real meaning, to be quite honest. And I also told them that, we haven't been ranked in the coaches poll yet. We haven't been ranked in the CFP yet. So we really haven't earned that much respect. Candidly, it really isn't a whole lot to really talk about. I did address with our guys. I take things head on like that so that everybody's going to pat them on the back and say, hey, you're 25th. And I'm like, who cares? Doesn't really matter. That's a great thing for our fans to probably talk about. It's nice for our program to get the recognition. The recognition part of that is great for Tulane and Tulane football. But it's not something I'm like, oh, we've accomplished anything. Kind of like, all right, who cares?
You're the first coach with 8 wins in their first season at Tulane, and you're also the first with a 6-0 start to conference play. Is that something you're aware of, and what does that mean to you as someone who's come back to Tulane?
I knew we had 8 wins. I knew we were 6-0. I didn't know I was the first coach that's done any of that. And it's really not me. It's our program. It's the guys. It's the coaching staff. It's the players that achieve those things. I tell you all the time, as a head coach, you get a lot of credit when things are going well. When things aren't going so well, you get a lot of blame. And I'm okay with both. I'm fine. But really, I really try to make sure to understand, stay humble and deflect the attention to, man, we've got a great coaching staff. We've got a lot of great players. I try not to screw it up. I try to make sure we stay on the train tracks, going the right direction. Any of the success we have as a program, man, it's everybody involved, including the collective. It's the fan base. It's the players. I'm just kind of making sure we keep it going in the right direction. And so, I was on our practice field today, and I told Greg McMahon, our special teams coordinator, I told Mac, I said, man, I am amazed and I'm kind of in awe of the quality of our coaches and really the culture of our locker room. And I mean that. And so whatever accolades or numbers that have started here, not really, it's got a little bit to do with me, maybe not much. It's got a lot to do with everybody else.
Well, I appreciate the humility, but just to call a spade, y'all are breaking records. You say, not just you, it is the whole program. Y'all are having a lot of success this year. Was there a point from when you got here to now where you kind of felt that the team really bought into your vision?
Yeah, so I would say the entire time you felt different levels of buy-in. And what I mean by that is going back to December when I got here, a lot of uncertainty with the current players at the time. And naturally, there's going to be, coaching change. There's going to be some guys leave. That's just the day and age we live in. But the first, I'd say, foundational block or cornerstone, if you will, of this year's team and me having confidence in what we could become was the Alex Baumans and the Josh Rimatiches and the Patrick Jenkins and the Tyler Grubbs, Slim Despaney, those guys deciding to remain. That Makai Hughes, I'm forgetting some, but those guys in December making the decision of I'm staying. That was kind of the first piece. Then you start to feel Mario Williams make that decision, and other guys in that window of December, January transfer, those guys hop in. And then you go through spring. And I felt some positive things, but I also – we went through our first goal line scrimmage in the spring practice sessions, and I was not pleased. And I'm like, all right, is this team going to be as tough as I wanted to be or as physical as I wanted to be? And then really you go through the second portal window in late April, early May, right? And we're able to add Jonathan Edwards and Micah Robinson, Aiden Huntington, and just several guys that have – Derek Graham that have been stalwarts to this team. And then you start to feel the summer our team really kind of come together. But within the year, this season, I think sometimes through maybe adversity or something not going well, is when you really find yourself. That can be individual or team, but I think the team standpoint, the Kansas State loss was heartbreaking. It was crushing to a lot of our guys, and I felt for them. I felt for the team because the guys had played themselves in a position to win the game and didn't come out on the right side for whatever reason. And so, and then really didn't play very good the first half of Oklahoma. I'm like, all right, we're playing about as bad as we can play right now. Where I really felt this team make a decision, and I say this all the time, good teams can be coach-led. What I mean by a good team, I'm talking about like a bowl-eligible team. But to be a great team, to be a team that's pursuing something higher than just average, I think you have to be player-led. Like, I don't think coaches lead those teams. I think coaches guide them, direct them. And, yeah, there's coaching leadership, but I think the players start to take ownership of it. It's their team. And I think really between the second half of Oklahoma, we scratched and we clawed and we fought back in that game, and we have the ball twice in the fourth quarter and the score's 24-19. We could go take the lead if we were able to get something going offensively there. And then game doesn't finish in our favor, and we're staring down the barrel of 1-2 start, which I happen to be familiar with. Our guys didn't flinch, and they came back and went on the road against Louisiana Lafayette in a hostile, hot environment, one of the hottest games I've ever been a part of, and found a way to get a gritty win on the road, which that win, the more you look at it now with the way they're playing, looks pretty good. That stretch right there of Kansas State, Oklahoma, Louisiana Lafayette is really when you start to feel this team like gel and fight for each other and believe in each other. And so that's probably kind of the couple-week period within the season where I felt it come together.
Absolutely. You talked a little bit about the transfer portal. It's kind of the new shiny toy for college football fans right now. I know we're not there yet, but you have been through it once. I'm sure a lot of people would love to know what the process of the transfer portal looks like for you as a head coach when it comes to scouting, recruiting, and then eventually signing players. And how is that different for you than with high school athletes?
Yeah, so the foundation of your program is still recruit high school kids and develop them. But you're going to have immediate needs. Last year we lost 4 of our 5 starting secondary players from last year's team when I got here. And so it's like, all right, we need some DBs. Like you have to answer, and maybe sometimes there's an immediate guy ready on the roster to step up. Like Rayshawn Pleasant has stepped up. But sometimes there may not be quite the obvious built-in ready answer to take over for a guy. And so you have to go out and find additional pieces that we don't go out and take transfer portal players typically that we're going, hey, this is going to be a 2-year developmental deal. This is a guy we want him to play pretty immediately for the most part. Occasionally you might take a youngster, and go, all right, he's not going to walk in the door ready to go. But he's got some redeeming qualities. But the majority of your transfer portal guys are guys that we're targeting to come in and like, hey, you're coming here to start. And the biggest thing I think that we have to do as a coaching staff with the transfers is there's the fit of, is this guy talented enough? That threshold, does he fit us football wise? That threshold, that's easy. The harder part is he going to fit the culture? Is he going to buy into how we do things, understand what our standards are, and meet those standards? And a lot of that just comes down to the character of a guy, and you have to measure that. I constantly harp on our staff about, man, we want guys that are tough, that love football, because those two traits are important to add to the locker room, regardless of how talented the player is. But the transfer stuff, it's about finding the right match, and you have certain needs. Every team has a different need. Like I'm already looking to our 25 roster right now. While I'm living in the moment of the season, I don't have the luxury of just showing up on Saturdays and cheering for the game. I have to kind of like think, all right, these guys aren't going to be here. Like right now, we lose our top 3 leading receivers for eligibility purposes, Mario, Dante, and Keith. Well, we need to develop the receivers we got, and we probably need to go out and add a couple more. You know what I mean? And so there's things I'm looking at already. Same thing with the D-line. We're going to lose Eric Hicks and Patrick Jenkins and Aiden Huntington for eligibility reasons. Well, we need to go out and add some D linemen while we're developing the guys we have. We still need to go add a couple probably for the 25 team. So my mind's already on those things in regards to what positions does the 25 roster need pieces added to help us be what we want to be moving forward, which, like I said, receiver, D-line, a couple of O-line spots, and DB, again, we're going to probably have to address a little bit.
Well, I certainly think that this is a great player-led team, but I find it hard to believe that a team would lead the country in time of possession if they didn't have a great coach. I know that your values of attitude, toughness, discipline, and love have really resonated with a lot of the players, and pretty much every player we've brought on our show has talked about why they either stayed at Tulane or they transferred to come to Tulane, in part because they like New Orleans, love the school of Tulane, but mainly because of you. What do you think it is about your coaching style that's well suited for the modern college student athlete?
Yeah, I'm brutally honest. My wife will tell you it's my greatest strength. It's my greatest weakness. Like, I don't sugarcoat things. I keep things direct. I think, 18 to 23, 24-year-old guys are some of the smartest people in the world, especially our football guys. Their street smart level is through the roof, and they can feel if you're BSing them. And so I'm not smart enough to have more than one personality. I'm only smart enough to have one. And so I am who I am. I'm authentic. I'm genuine. I'm very direct with our guys. And I think what you see is what you get. We're also very relational. Like, they know they can come in and have a conversation with me, talk with me about life, and I'm going to be here for them. The way I lead and the way I task our staff with leading also is like, I want our program to be transformational, not transactional. And so we're here to serve our players. If there were no players, there'd be no coaches, right? And so our job is to help our players transform into the best version of themselves. And yes, that helps the team, but it also helps the individual at the same time. And so we're not trying to figure out transactionally what can we get out of a guy just for our good. It's for their good and for the team's good. And we're trying to help them create value for themselves for the long term of their lives, whether it be on or off the field. And so I think guys feel that, they see that, and they think, the best reference I can have is former players. And so, like, when our lights just went off in here, but when guys are considering transferring, they're going to reach out to players you've coached that maybe are playing at a high level. Like, for myself, Jake Andrews is with the Patriots, or Jamin Davis, who I've coached, was a first-round draft pick, or Kamani Vidal, or Del Pettis, Javon Solomon, Reddy Stewart, all these guys I've got that I've coached that are in NFL. Transfer guys will call them and go, hey, tell me about what it's going to really be like. And I encourage guys with their transferring to, hey, ask the guys that are on our current team, what's it really like? Like, what's the real? And I think they usually figure out it lines up and it's consistent.
Yeah, they definitely recognize the authenticity. It's something I saw from the first practice I was at, and immediately was optimistic about the future here. We want to be respectful of your time. I got one more question for you. Before we get there, I want to remind everyone who's watching this to donate to the collective, support your Tulane athletics. Give what you can. If you can't give anything, at least like the video, subscribe. That supports it too. So, everything helps. Before you get out of here, Coach, I know you're a very busy man. There's a spot in the college football playoffs right now that's up for grabs. Tulane's definitely in the mix. Why do you think Tulane deserves it right now?
Well, I don't know that we do yet. We gotta keep winning, and I'm not here to lobby yet that we deserve anything. If we'll keep winning, then I might sound like I'm running for political office. But until then, we just got to do our job. We're in control of what we're in control of, and that's getting ready for a game each week and being very focused on what's right in front of us. I told our team, we have a theme of the week each week. This week, it's do your job. Don't matter what your role is on the team, just do your job to the best of your ability. And don't worry about doing your job any other day, the day we're in, which, on Monday, do your job, whatever that is on Monday, do it to the best of your ability. And so we got to keep playing to our standard and keep elevating and keep improving and keep growing as a team. And at the end, we'll look up. And if I got to go on TV and, speak like a politician to help our team, I will. But until then, we got to worry about just trying to win games and stay very focused at that one step at a time. And, that's what comes next for this team. And I'm glad you brought up support and fear the wave. I think the supporting our student athletes with opportunities is more important to me than anything. And I've said it 100 times, like facilities are great and we need the best facilities we can have. But at the end of the day, it's humans over hardware. If you don't have the right humans, it don't matter what hardware you got. And so we need to have the right people and continue to attract the right people to Tulane. I don't care what the building looks like. Now, I do, but that matters. And the facility component matters. But I've said it 100 times. Everybody will listen to me. It's NIL and rev share and then facilities, not facilities and then NIL and rev share. I think one is more important than the other. They're both important, but taking care of our players and providing them with positive opportunities is most important.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody do their job in Navy, and we'll let you do your job and checking out some film on their defense and offense.
Thank you. Roll Wave. Appreciate you guys. Good joining.
Roll Wave.